Hey everyone, it's Christina Holloway here. Welcome back to my channel. If you've ever said something like, let's light a fire under this project and had a coworker start talking about safety protocols, you're not alone. Today we're talking about what happens when everything you say gets taken way too literally. This isn't just about communication breakdowns. This is about staying in control of your message or your authority and your leadership style when you're working with people who need every instruction to be precise. Let's talk about why this happens, what it says about the people you're dealing with, and what you can do to stay effective without losing your mind. All right, so let's get started. Let's start with some common facts about the workplace. Not everyone communicates the same way. Some people love nuance, sarcasm, or big picture thinking. Others, they want direct, literal, step by step language. Here's what you need to know: people who take things literally are often rule bound, process focused, and nervous about making mistakes. They value clarity and consistency over creativity or ambiguity. So, I'm certified to debrief people using the Hogan Personality Assessment, and I love it. That's one of my favorite parts of my job. I enjoy unpacking these assessment results and helping my clients work on the strengths that make them formidable leaders. There's a scale that helps us understand our preferences at work. It's called the hedonism scale. And while that's an extreme way to describe preferences for how people like to succeed in work environments, it's actually a really good scale for understanding what people expect when they go to work. In this example, there are people on one end of the scale who really enjoy being connected to other people, and they love the dynamics of fast paced, high performance environments. They're very engaged in the interpersonal dynamics of the job, the way they connect with others to get things done, and how and what they communicate to others, especially other dynamic people. You may find that you're in this environment when you look around and see people using business speak to get their point across. I worked at a company where the acronyms were tossed around everywhere. And if you didn't keep up with how people spoke in shorthand, you were almost looked at as someone who wasn't, on top of it or using the latest jargon. So this becomes problematic for others who are very low on the scale, those who are less likely to enjoy the dynamics of the environment and more inclined to just show up to work, get their job done, and go home. They don't want to be part of the party, so to speak. As a result, they may be less likely to be fast paced or dynamic when it comes to interpersonal dynamics. And that slows things down. And then those people might take things literally or miscommunicate on occasion. Now, this is just one dynamic. There are a lot of scales in these personality reports, and they all roll up to a fully formed adult person. That's fine. But one of the things that help us be successful or even just productive at work is the ability to read other people and make sure you're communicating with them in a way that they can receive it. If you're spending too much time speaking in jargon and they're less interested in using that vernacular, then you'll miscommunicate. No question. So, what's the real issue here? When everything you say gets taken literally, three things can happen. You lose control of the message. You say one thing and people do another. You get pulled into micromanaging because if you're not hyper specific, things fall apart. You start doubting yourself. You wonder, was I unclear? Did I miss something? Literal minded people often operate with high caution, high skepticism, and sometimes low flexibility because they're really there to get a job done. They may not mean to challenge you, they just interpret the world in a very narrow way. And when you're a fast moving, visionary thinker, that can feel like constantly dragging an anchor, especially if you have someone like this on your team and you're leading a very big, important project with them. This can be very frustrating. So you need to clear this up quickly so it doesn't become a persistent problem. Here are a few real life signs that you're dealing with a literal minded colleague. You give a general direction and they ask 10 follow up questions. They won't take initiative unless it's spelled out in detail. You make a joke or use sarcasm and they get confused or even offended. You say something like, "We need to move fast," and they reply, "But the deadline isn't for 2 weeks." You ask, "Why wasn't this done?" And they literally tell you, "Well, you didn't tell me to do that." You talk across each other. You say something, and their response isn't even remotely related to what you just said. You might feel like you're walking on eggshells, trying to anticipate how your words will be misinterpreted. And if you're someone who is high energy, fast moving, and not afraid of a little ambiguity, this can be exhausting. So, to reduce miscommunication and prevent bad feelings towards these slower, more intentional thinkers, here are 4 strategies to help you lead and communicate effectively. Be clear and flexible. You don't need to over explain everything, but you do need to double check how your message landed. Try just to be clear, when I say move fast, I mean let's have a draft by Thursday. Reframe your metaphors and acronyms. If you're someone who speaks in vision or analogies, translate that into action. For example, instead of "we're building the plane while flying it," say "we're solving problems in real time and it's okay to make changes as we go." Also, experiment with cutting back on the acronyms and see if that creates clarity. Don't take it personally. Literal thinkers aren't trying to challenge your authority, they're trying to feel safe. Your clarity helps them relax. Follow up in writing. When stakes are high, summarize what was agreed upon in an email or chat. This gives them something concrete to reference and saves you from repeated clarification. So, look, being taken literally doesn't mean you're a bad communicator. It means you're working with someone who needs a different style of clarity. As a leader, your job is to adapt without overexerting yourself. And when in doubt, ask, "How did that land for you?" You might be surprised by what comes back. All right, so that's it for my video on how to handle people who just don't connect with your communication style. Let me know in the comments below if this topic resonates with you. I'd love to hear about your experiences, and I'm sure others would benefit from your insights. And if you want leadership advice that's grounded in real life resilience, check out my newsletter, The Executive Edge, or join my private LinkedIn group, Leadership Lunch Break. I've linked everything in the description below. And if you enjoyed watching this video and you found it helpful, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up by hitting that like button and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you never miss another video from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.